All right, everybody, I'm now back. See if anything's happening. Yeah, I was mentioning in the video here today, something like Unfi is looking actually very nice, 725, 755, fairly orderly, fairly on the 15s, not quite as much on the 5s, not showing up because, the relative volume is not high enough. I've got my cutoff at 150, so that's why that one isn't showing up. But, you can always look at the top list. You don't have to just wait for the actual alert, because sometimes, within the top list, you might see something, okay, all the filters aren't met, but it still looks awfully good. If that makes sense. TPR. The V-Ray is, again, something that I still may be interested. I'm out of it completely, but I may be interested in swinging if it gets up here again, closes strongly. Wow, yeah, that was, look at this though. It struggled 3 or 4 times to finally get through 8. When it did, boy, what a nice move, but it did struggle. Oh, what did I say? Yeah, 450. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm at 450. Yeah, things are really slowing down now, for me anyway. This one, not bad. The Sabre, 22.99. I don't know when the first alert was, but definitely the last one, 22.99, 23.60. Well, forget that. that was a potential short, so forget that one. Not too many short ops today from the scans. I'm not saying there are no short ops. I'm just saying from the scans that I have. This is a pretty good one for, in fact, the alert at 2140 for DT, and it hit 2266. That's actually an excellent one, 2140, over $1. Not saying you could have got in right at, but yeah, as I always say, give me this middle 2/3 anytime. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if the time of day filter is going to help you. Actually, it would help you. So we do have a time of day in which you could set up 2 multi-strategy windows, I guess, and have the max. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Okay, but if you put the time of day, add the filter, and then put the max after the open, so 10 o'clock, so that's 30 minutes after the open, and then you can do the math for the 1 o'clock. So you put the max 30 minutes, put the 600,000, and then put the new 300,000, and then just use your trigger new high of day. Does that make sense? So that'd be 1, and then just do the next one for the 1 o'clock time frame. So it's at 4.5 hours. So what's that? 270. So you put max 270 with the 600,000. You're welcome. Actually, I see that Unfee, though, triggered at 726 from the AI curation at 950. They got too many together. I'm going to have to want to pare that back a bit. Yeah, he's still here. I'm not. Yeah, no. Well, it took a while, but VRT started to finally work, I guess, a little bit. I think the break was here around 8:30, so it hasn't moved an extraordinary amount. All right, 1 more hour left. All right, listen, guys, I'm going to answer a few emails, putting myself on mute. I'm still here. Have any questions, just ask. post them and I'll answer you. But right now I'm just going to answer some emails. All right, guys, I see that marker is still alive and kicking here, MRKR, and it's interesting because it did take out that weekly high of 539, I guess a little while ago, 539. I think I had an alert set. No, maybe I didn't, but 539 was the weekly high a couple of weeks ago, taking that out. Next task would be 6 and the 622, and then, as we used to call it, the fantasy void to get all the way up here. Hey, bio. Haven't seen that bio for a while. You know, it's having a nice, tremendous pop. 560 all the way up to 630 before it pulled back. Low float, 1 million in the float. So that is what can happen. I don't see any specific reason for it. I see MTC was slightly alive again today. Very much alive. Wow. I missed that one. I know some people were talking about MTC. What a wacky week this one had. I mean, look, bottom 234, top 13 something, 1334. Not that I'm counting the minutes, but 53 minutes to go. What a difference a day makes. I mean, remember yesterday, this was all yellow, of course, with the market being down so much. Market having a nice pop day. What is the SPY doing in terms of the overall? Yeah, I mean, you look at the monthly chart, I mean, it's not as disastrous as it seemed to be. Even the weekly, this would be the area. I think I actually have an alert set here. This would be the area on the weekly chart. If we take that out, that might signify, something a little more dire, but keep waiting for this one to really crack again. This Verso VRS. It's just been hanging under 11. It's had a big drop from here. It's just been kind of coasting here though. Boy, look at this, just snoozing. TX just snoozing here. Okay, so interestingly, this is how I was wondering, well, why is this even triggering? It's 1.35, the relative volume is 1.35. Of course, that's how the relative volume works, because as this volume was decreasing, the trigger was at The relative volume was 1.59, so it snuck in. Remember, my filter is 1.5, so it did sneak in. But as this volume is just decreasing, the relative volume has decreased. So at this point, it would not trigger again. Doesn't mean I, can't stop watching it, but that's how the relative volume filter works. It's a time of day. So at this time, when it triggered at 12:20, the relative volume was 1.5, because the relative volume looks at what the average is up to the point of the day over the last 10 days. What did it normally do at up to 12:20? So it was 1.5 times that. But now, it's as it's just basing and no volume, the relative volume is starting to drop. You too, Roger. I know I will have a tremendous weekend. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Uh-oh, PSTV rearing its ugly head again. Off another nice $1.65 pop off 10. I shouldn't even mention it. If you're going to trade this, you're trading it on your own. I have a couple of levels here that I'm kind of watching just to see. Maybe have an end of day thrust, but other than that, I'm certain. So again, just points to cover again. If you're on the test drive, please save each individual window to the cloud. Right click, save. Okay. Save your layout to the cloud. File, save or share to cloud, entire layout. Give it a name, save. Why? Because if at some point you do decide you want to take out a subscription to Trade Ideas, everything you've done this week, if you save it to the cloud, you'll still have access to it. As long as you, if you do take out a subscription later on, as long as you use the same email address as you used for the test drive, everything you've done this week will be saved for you. The other reason, of course, to save things to the cloud is that you can download Trade Ideas to as many devices as you want. You can only have one occurrence of the software open at a time, of course, but you download it to all your different devices, and then you can just file load from cloud. You don't have to recreate everything from scratch. So that's another reason to load from the cloud or to save to the cloud. Other thing about the test drive, once it's over, it's over. Please don't tell or ask our people or our support staff. Don't ask them to say, hey, I don't want a subscription, or please unsubscribe me from the test drive. When the test drive is over, it's over. There's nothing for you to do. We don't put you into a subscription, okay? This weekend, you will receive an email with our promo code and all. If you want to take out a subscription, great. But again, we do not put you into a subscription. And that goes for those of you who are on our standard service and upgraded to premium this week. Just go back to your standard, unless you tell them that you want to upgrade. Yeah, a little pop out of there. Would have been interesting to see what would have happened to DDS had the market been down 500 like yesterday. It may still have traded somewhat the same, but I'm sure maybe the market going up kind of helped. Somebody said they didn't miss by that much, but the retailers were just getting pummeled. But you can see right now, retail's had you know, the retail sector, here's the ETF, one of them anyway, for the retail sector, having a good day, you know, as opposed to the last 2 bad days. How are grandfathered prices affected by the test drive? I'm not sure. You mean if you upgrade, if you took the premium service for the 5 days? Nothing gets affected by the test drive, if that's what you mean. The test drive is just a Amat is having a nice, you know, gentle bounce back from that pullback. Yeah, I should have been watching this one a little bit closer, the bouncers, toppers, especially the bouncers on a day like today. You know, there was PTLA. I don't know why the arrow is not showing up. Oh, there it is right there. There it is, a little late. So you can see what it's doing. Looking for stocks that have been kind of beaten up, quote unquote, oversold, and looking for a bounce. And the alert was 29.61. Look at it now.